Thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I think the way we started the game makes it hard against a team that's of their caliber. Just turning the ball over early, and you're playing from behind the whole game. I thought we did a good job of, making up ground, and a couple times where, um, we made it a game again. Particularly by halftime, and then even late. We were scratching and clawing, but I think in addition to the turnovers, there's some you can't have breakdowns against this team. Whether it's a rotation or you help off somebody and they make you pay by making a three. So there were little things like that when you play a team of their caliber that you may not be perfect, but you got to be better than we were with some of those breakdowns on the defensive end too.
The first couple of minutes of the game, it seemed like it was difficult just to get into your offense. Was there something that they were doing defensively that really disrupted you there?
I mean, if we threw the ball ahead and someone stole it, I think we had errant passes, so we didn't really, as long as we didn't have a chance to get into our offense because of some self-inflicted things. Thought we handled their pressure, on the ball well, just off the ball when it's something, they lead the league in forcing turnovers, and you get out there and it's a little different, of course, when you're confronted with that, but one of those things we just have to be better.
Coach, you sort of addressed it in your first answer there, but the margin for error against this team is just razor thin. Is that something you sort of constantly reinforce to your guys? Like you can't give them any. Was that
Sure.
one out of the timeout? You had the ball, and I think Shea stole it and ran down and
Yeah,
made
yeah. I mean, you reinforce that stuff all the time, and the guys know it. They're aware of OKC's got the best record in the league, are right there. So it's not a surprise. You just have to execute, and that's it's not so much what you say off the court. And what you're trying to do is just your level of focus and attention to detail, during the game, and the way that they fly around and as quick as they are, you have to be spaced right. You have to be that precise, and we weren't early.
With the amount of possessions you had in the game, do you want to see that continue, that pace of play?
Well, I think against these guys, if you get into a half-court game, it's harder to score against them. So you want to get the ball up the court quickly before they can set their defense, before you have to, you get pressured, three-quarter court or half court. So there's a balance there, where you execute in dead ball situations, and even that, and you have to be really precise and get open, and use really fundamental stuff. And but as I said, I thought, we scored 119 points. I know there was pace, but there was a lot of times on the defensive end where we were, and you could feel it. So all of a sudden, someone ends up with a wide open three, and they shoot the ball well. You're only going to be able to give up so many of those and win the game.
Coach, playing a team of this caliber, what do you think the guys in the locker room can learn from?
Well, some of the things I just mentioned, I think, it's nothing. These aren't things that come as a surprise to you. They're things that involve us continuing to improve our execution. And you can see at times right now where we can be a little disjointed. We're still trying to figure out to learn each other, so to speak. And that's just a reality. It's not an excuse, and we'll keep working on that.
I know it was a long time ago now, but coming out of halftime, you went with George instead of Mo.
Yeah.
What went into that choice, and just trying to?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you make a change. It's not one player's fault. I thought the way that we started the game needed to be better, and George, his shooting and his ball handling is something that he brings at that position. You got a vet guy that's played in those games, and our substitutions are going to continue as we look for. There's stretches in the game where we struggle, and we've got to continue to look at those and try to address them. And this was one of those ones where, you're not putting anything on Mo's shoulders. Mo's been great, but in that situation, it made sense.
Coach, 23 and 13 from Onyeka. Just what were some things that you saw out of him that he could carry over to the next game, especially in that second quarter?
Yeah, I think in pick and roll or just in, the flow of the game, his ability to, he's got good hands and you trust him, and his ability to, add an additional playmaker or facilitator is the better word, on the offensive end is really good. And, he's been focused defensively, and he just needs to keep doing that. But as I said, I think, playing through him, especially if they're aggressive on Trey and pick and roll, it was someone that, all those guys trust him. Okay.